The Helios deep space research vessel drifted silently through the Carina Nebula's outer reaches, its sensors probing the cosmic dust for signs of biological activity. Dr. Kira Patel stood at the observation deck's main viewport, her reflection ghostly against the backdrop of swirling purple and blue gases. 20 years of space exploration had taught her to trust her instincts, and something about today's readings made her internal alarm bells ring. Dr. Patel, the ship's AI, announced with uncharacteristic urgency. We're detecting unusual energy signatures at bearing 047, range 300,000 kilometers. Kira's fingers danced across the holographic display, bringing up the sensor data. The readings defied conventional analysis. A massive object moving through space with deliberate purpose, yet leaving no traditional propulsion signature. "Full stop," she ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Power down all non-essential systems. Lieutenant Rhodes, get me a visual." The main screen flickered to life, and the entire bridge crew fell silent. Against the nebula's luminescent backdrop floated something that shouldn't exist, a creature larger than their research vessel, its body a shifting mass of what appeared to be living crystal and shadow. The entity's surface rippled with patterns that seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it. "My God," whispered Dr. Thomas Weber, the ship's xenobiologist. "It's biological. We're looking at a living organism." The creature's movement suddenly ceased. For a moment that stretched into eternity, it hung motionless in space, as if aware of their observation. Then, without warning, its surface erupted in a cascade of complex patterns. "RIA, are you recording this?" Kira asked, her scientific mind already cataloging every detail. "Affirmative, Doctor. The patterns appear to be." The AI's response was cut short as the creature suddenly convulsed, its crystalline surface fracturing and reforming in chaotic sequences. What happened next defied all expectations. The massive entity, easily capable of destroying their ship, recoiled violently. Its surface patterns shifted to what could only be described as expressions of pure terror. Before anyone could react, the creature vanished into the nebula's depths, leaving behind only scattered sensor readings and very confused humans. Did it just run away from us?" Lieutenant Rhodes asked, breaking the stunned silence. Kira was already analyzing the sensor logs. Not just ran. It showed every sign of experiencing extreme fear. But why? We're hardly threatening to something of that size. Over the next few days, the Helios crew documented everything they could about the encounter. The creature's biological readings suggested it was an apex predator, evolved to hunt in the vacuum of space itself. Its crystalline structure contained complex neural networks more advanced than anything humans had ever encountered. Yet it had fled from them as if they were the monsters. The discovery sparked intense debate among the crew. Dr. Weber believed the creature might have detected some biological signature from humans that it found threatening. Lieutenant Rhodes suggested their technology might have appeared hostile to its sensory systems, but Kira couldn't shake the feeling they were missing something fundamental. A week later, their theories were put to the test when long-range sensors detected 3 more of the creatures approaching from different directions. Kira ordered the crew to battle stations, more out of protocol than any real belief they could defend themselves against multiple entities of that size. But once again, the creature's reaction defied logic. As soon as they came within a certain range of the Helios, all 3 beings displayed the same signs of terror and fled, their crystalline bodies practically shattering in their haste to escape. "They're coordinating," Kira realized, watching the sensor readings. This wasn't a random encounter. They came to investigate us specifically, but something about our presence terrifies them on an instinctual level. The implications were staggering. Humanity had spent centuries wondering if they would be worthy of joining the galactic community, fearing they might be too primitive or weak to survive among the stars. Instead, they had stumbled upon the discovery that they were somehow naturally repellent to what appeared to be one of the most powerful species in known space. as the Helios began its journey back to Earth, carrying data that would change humanity's understanding of their place in the cosmos. Kira spent long hours in the observation deck, watching the nebulous swirling gases. The encounter had raised more questions than answers, but one thing was certain. Humanity's first contact with advanced alien life hadn't ended in communication, warfare, or cultural exchange, but with the universe's apex predators running away in terror. She couldn't help but wonder what this meant for humanity's future among the stars. More importantly, what was it about humans that could strike such fear into beings that had likely evolved to fear nothing? The answer, when it eventually came, would shake the foundations of human understanding about their own nature and their unique place in the cosmic order. But for now, as the Helios carried its explosive discovery toward home, Kira could only marvel at the irony that humanity's greatest asset in space might not be their technology or their intelligence, but something far more fundamental to their very existence. Dr. Raj Mehta stared at the growing wall of reports flooding the United Earth Science Council's quantum servers. In the 3 months since the Helios encounter, similar incidents had been documented across human space. Research vessels, colony ships, even small mining operations, all reported encounters with the crystalline entities, now officially designated as void stalkers, and all described the same inexplicable reaction of terror. The pattern is undeniable, he explained to the assembled council members, his hologram flickering slightly as it transmitted across the solar system. These creatures are absolutely terrified of us, but only within a specific range. Behind him, a three-dimensional map displayed every documented encounter. Red dots marked the points where void stalkers had first detected human presence, and blue lines traced their hasty retreat paths. What's fascinating, Raj continued, manipulating the display, is the consistency of the reaction distance. No matter the size of the human presence, be it a single mining pod or a full colony ship, the void stalkers all react at exactly 297,000 kilometers. Council President Jing Wei leaned forward, her aged face creased with concern. And we're certain these are the same species that the Centaurian records describe as galaxy-wide predators. Without question. Raj pulled up ancient alien artwork showing crystalline horrors consuming entire worlds. The Centaurians called them world eaters. Their historical records indicate these creatures have destroyed countless civilizations. They're supposed to be unstoppable, fearless, yet they flee from us like we're toxic. The council chamber erupted in debate. Some saw this as an advantage to be exploited. Others worried about the diplomatic implications. How could humanity join the galactic community if one of its dominant species couldn't bear to be near them? A message flashed across Raj's neural link. Urgent communication from Dr. Isabella Santos at the Luna Quantum Research Facility. He excused himself from the council session and retreated to a private chamber. Isabella's hologram appeared, her expression animated with excitement. Raj, we found something. You need to see this immediately. The data package she sent made his breath catch. The Luna facility had been studying the quantum signature of void stalker biology, trying to understand how these beings could exist in their crystalline state. What they discovered was astonishing. Their entire nervous system operates on quantum entanglement, Isabella explained. It's how they coordinate their crystalline structure and communicate across vast distances. But look at this comparison. She overlaid two wavelength patterns, one from a void stalker's neural network, another from human brain activity during sleep. They're perfectly out of phase, Raj whispered, understanding dawning. Our brain patterns during sleep are exactly inverse to their quantum neural patterns, Isabella finished. Every sleeping human generates a quantum field that's fundamentally disruptive to their basic biological functions. We're not just unappetizing to them. We're walking quantum anomalies that threaten their very existence. The implications were staggering. Every human colony, every ship with sleeping crew members, was broadcasting a quantum signal that the void stalkers couldn't bear to be near. Evolution had given humanity an invisible shield against the galaxy's most feared predators. But as Raj studied the data, something else caught his attention. The quantum disruption wasn't equal across all human brain states. REM sleep produced the strongest effect. But there were other patterns that seemed to resonate with void stalker biology in different ways. "Isabella," he asked, "have you tested different types of brain activity? Meditation, deep sleep, heightened emotional states?" "Not yet. We've been focused on understanding the basic mechanism." "Why?" "Because if we can understand exactly how our consciousness affects them, we might be able to do more than just scare them away. We might be able to communicate." The suggestion seemed to take Isabella aback. "Communicate? With creatures that destroy worlds?" "Think about it," Raj insisted. "They're clearly intelligent. Their quantum neural networks are more complex than anything we've ever seen. What if their predatory behavior isn't their entire nature? What if we could actually understand them?" Before Isabella could respond, a priority alert flashed across both their neural links. A colony in the Proxima system was reporting unusual void stalker activity. Unlike previous encounters, this one wasn't retreating. Initial reports suggested it was smaller than others of its kind, possibly juvenile. And it was displaying behavior never before seen in its species, curiosity. Raj quickly gathered his data. "I'm heading to Proxima. This could be our chance to test these theories." As his ship prepared for quantum jump, Raj couldn't help but wonder if humanity was about to cross a threshold. They had discovered their unique place in the cosmic order, not as prey, not as predators, but as something entirely unexpected. The question now was, what would they do with this knowledge? The stars blurred around his ship as it leaked toward Proxima, carrying him toward an encounter that would either bridge the gap between two species or prove that some divisions in nature were meant to remain uncrossed. The Proxima research station hummed with nervous energy as Dr. Raj Mehta arrived. Through the reinforced observation windows, he could see it. A juvenile void stalker, roughly a quarter the size of an adult, hovering just outside the station's quantum barrier perimeter. Dr. Naomi Tanaka, the station's lead researcher, met him at the airlock. "It's been here for 3 days," she explained, leading him to the main lab. "Doesn't retreat, doesn't advance. Just watches." The creature's behavior defied everything they knew about its species. The quantum disruption from the sleeping humans aboard the station should have driven it away. Yet it remained, its crystalline surface shifting with complex patterns. "Show me the readings," Raj requested, and Naomi brought up the data streams. "Its neural patterns are different from the adults we studied," she explained. "More flexible, almost as if its quantum structure hasn't fully crystallized yet." The implications hit Raj like a physical force. It's still developing. Its neural pathways are still forming, which means it might be adaptable to our quantum signature, Naomi finished. "We've been monitoring its surface patterns. They're becoming increasingly synchronized with our station's human sleep cycles." The juvenile void stalker suddenly shifted position, its crystalline form refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. The movement sent ripples of anxiety through the station's crew. But Raj stepped closer to the window, fascinated. "It's learning," he whispered. "Every moment it spends near us. It's adapting to our quantum signature." A call from Luna interrupted their observation. Isabella Santos' hologram appeared, her expression urgent. "Raj, we've made a breakthrough. The quantum resonance isn't just one way. Our brains aren't just disrupting their neural patterns. There's feedback." She sent through new data showing how human brain patterns subtly shifted during prolonged exposure to void stalker presence. "We're affecting each other on a quantum level. The fear response we've seen in adults. It might be learned, not innate." Raj's mind raced with possibilities. "Naomi, can we modulate the station's quantum shielding? Instead of blocking our sleep patterns entirely, I want to try controlled exposure." The next 12 hours were a careful dance of adjustments and observation. They gradually modified the quantum barrier, allowing more of the human sleep patterns to reach the juvenile void stalker while monitoring its responses. The creature's surface patterns began to shift, forming new configurations they'd never seen before. Its crystalline structure vibrated at frequencies that matched human brain waves during different sleep stages. "It's trying to communicate," Naomi realized, analyzing the pattern sequences. These configurations, they're becoming more ordered, more deliberate. Then something extraordinary happened. As the night shift crew went to sleep, their dreams began to show striking similarities. Each reported visions of crystal forests, quantum seas, and a sense of vast intelligence trying to reach out. "The quantum connection goes both ways," Raj breathed, looking at the dream pattern analysis. "They're not just predators. They're conscious beings trying to understand us, just as we're trying to understand them." But their breakthrough came at a price. Long-range sensors detected multiple adult void stalkers approaching the system. The juvenile's presence had attracted attention. "We need to shut down the experiment," Naomi insisted. "If they reach the station." "No," Raj countered, studying the juvenile's patterns. "This is our chance. The adults aren't coming to attack. They're coming to investigate. Their offspring has done something unprecedented. It's establishing genuine contact with humans." The following hours were tense as the adult void stalkers entered the system. But instead of fleeing or attacking, they took up positions around the station, their crystalline forms resonating in complex harmonies with the juvenile. Through the quantum connection established by the juvenile, images and impressions began flooding into the sleeping crew's minds. The void stalkers shared visions of their history, not as mindless predators, but as ancient custodians of cosmic order, consuming only what threatened universal balance. They had avoided humans not out of simple fear, but because human consciousness represented something they'd never encountered, a species whose very dreams could reshape quantum reality. As understanding flowed both ways, Raj realized they'd discovered something far more profound than a defense against cosmic predators. They'd found a way to bridge the gap between radically different forms of consciousness. The juvenile void stalker's surface erupted in patterns of extraordinary complexity, its first attempt at direct communication. Through the quantum link, its message became clear. Humans weren't enemies to be feared or prey to be hunted. They were something entirely new in the cosmic order, beings whose minds could touch the quantum fabric of reality itself. As the adult void stalkers began synchronizing their patterns with the station's human sleep cycles, Raj knew they were witnessing the beginning of something unprecedented. The first true dialogue between humanity and one of the universe's most ancient species. The question was no longer whether humans belonged among the stars, but how their unique nature would reshape the cosmic order itself. Commander Zara Blackwood stood in the bridge of the experimental vessel Quantum Dreamer, watching streams of data flow across her neural interface. 6 months had passed since the breakthrough at Proxima Station, and humanity's understanding of their relationship with the Void Stalkers had evolved dramatically. "Quantum resonance holding steady," reported Dr. Raj Mehta, now leading the Joint Human Void Stalker Research Initiative. "The juveniles are maintaining synchronization." Through the vessel's quantum-enhanced viewport, Zora could see them. 3 young void stalkers, their crystalline forms pulsing with patterns that matched the ship's carefully modulated human sleep rhythms. They had volunteered for this mission, part of the first generation of their kind to actively seek human contact. The Quantum Dreamer represented humanity's most ambitious attempt yet to bridge the gap between species. Its crew of 20 was in induced delta sleep, their brain patterns amplified and harmonized to create a stable quantum field that the young void stalkers could tolerate, even learn from. "We're picking up something new," Naomi Tanaka announced from her station. "The juveniles' quantum signatures are shifting. They're attempting to initiate deep contact." This was what they'd been waiting for. Previous communications had been limited to surface impressions and basic concepts, but the juveniles had insisted they were ready for more. "Begin descent to delta frequency," Zara ordered. As the sleeping crew's brain patterns deepened, the young void stalkers moved closer, their crystalline surfaces rippling with increasingly complex patterns. The first images hit like a tidal wave of pure consciousness. Through the quantum link, the Void Stalkers shared their true nature, not just as physical beings, but as living quantum processors, able to perceive and manipulate the very fabric of space-time. They showed humanity's earliest ancestors, seen through ancient quantum echoes. As early humans developed consciousness and the ability to dream, they had unconsciously tapped into the quantum field that the Void Stalkers called home. Each human dream sent ripples through this field, creating patterns that could either harmonize with or disrupt quantum-based life. "This is incredible," Raj breathed, watching the data stream. "They're not just showing us their memories. They're teaching us how to consciously access the quantum field." But amid the wonder came mourning. The juveniles shared visions of other quantum-sensitive species their kind had encountered, civilizations that had learned to manipulate the quantum field but had used that power recklessly, threatening the very fabric of space-time. The Void Stalkers' role as predators had evolved as a response, culling species that endangered the cosmic balance. Humanity was different. Their natural ability to affect quantum fields through consciousness had developed alongside an inherent restraint, the cycle of sleep and waking that kept their power in check. Suddenly, alarms blared through the ship. "Multiple quantum disturbances detecting," Naomi reported, her voice tense. "Adult Void Stalkers, hundreds of them, converging on our position." Zara's hand moved toward the defensive systems, but one of the juveniles pressed against the quantum barrier, its patterns shifting rapidly. Through the link, its message was clear. This wasn't an attack. This was a gathering. The space around the quantum dreamer filled with crystalline forms, each Void Stalker adding its consciousness to the quantum field. Through their combined awareness, they shared a truth that stunned the human observers. Humanity's emergence had been predicted in their species' most ancient prophecies. The quantum field that pervaded the universe was growing unstable, threatened by the increasing complexity of conscious life. It needed custodians who could bridge the gap between classical and quantum existence, beings who could dream new patterns into the cosmic fabric while maintaining its fundamental harmony. Humans, with their unique ability to unconsciously process quantum information through dreams while remaining grounded in classical physics during waking hours, were perfectly evolved for this role. The Void Stalkers hadn't fled from humans out of fear, but out of instinctive recognition. Humanity's consciousness was the key to stabilizing the quantum field that all advanced life depended on. As this understanding flowed through the quantum link, the adult Void Stalkers began a synchronized resonance pattern. They were offering more than just communication or cooperation. They were offering to teach humanity how to consciously access and stabilize the quantum field, to become true partners in maintaining the balance of reality itself. Zara looked at her crew, their sleeping forms now glowing with subtle quantum energies, and knew they stood at a turning point in cosmic history. Humanity hadn't just found its place among the stars. They had discovered their true purpose in the universe's grand design. 1 year after the quantum convergence aboard the Dreamer, the Sol system had become something unprecedented in galactic history, a shared space where humans and Void Stalkers worked together to understand their intertwined destinies. The massive crystalline forms of adult Void Stalkers now regularly moved through human space, their terror replaced by purpose. In the quantum research facility orbiting Jupiter, Commander Zora Blackwood and Dr. Raj Mehta stood before the United Earth Council, presenting their latest findings. Behind them, through vast windows, a young Void Stalker named First Bridge by humans performed intricate quantum manipulations, its crystalline surface flowing like liquid starlight. "The Quantum Field Stabilization Project has exceeded all expectations," Zara reported. "With Void Stalker guidance, we've learned to consciously direct our natural quantum influence. The results are revolutionary." Holographic displays showed the evidence, regions of space where human Void Stalker cooperation had repaired quantum instabilities that threatened to tear reality apart. The variability that had once driven Void Stalkers away in terror had become the foundation of a profound alliance. But not everyone welcomed this new era. Admiral Viktor Petrov rose from his council seat, his expression stern. We're talking about fundamental forces of reality here. Humanity now possesses the power to reshape quantum fields. Some would say we have a responsibility to use this advantage, to ensure our species' dominance. The argument wasn't new. Since discovering their quantum influence, some humans had pushed for more aggressive applications. Why stop at stabilization when they could reshape space itself? Why partner with former predators when they could command them? First Bridge's surface patterns shifted, and through the quantum link now established in the chamber, its thoughts reached everyone present. It shared visions of civilizations that had tried to dominate the quantum field, their ambitions fracturing the very fabric of space-time. The Void Stalkers hadn't evolved as predators by choice, but out of desperate necessity. We stand at a crossroads, Raj addressed the council. Our dreams have always touched the quantum field, but unconsciously, naturally. Now that we can access it willingly, we face the same choice countless species before us faced, to dominate or to preserve. Through First Bridge, other Void Stalkers joined the quantum link, sharing deeper memories. They showed how the universe itself had evolved consciousness through beings like themselves, how the quantum field was not just a force to be used, but a living matrix that connected all things. The point isn't that we can't dominate, Zara added, it's that we shouldn't. Our very nature, the alternation between conscious and unconscious states, between waking and dreaming, makes us perfect partners in maintaining cosmic balance. It's why we evolved this ability in the first place. The debate raged for hours, but in the end, wisdom prevailed. The Council voted to establish the Quantum Harmony Protocol, a framework for using humanity's unique abilities in concert with Void Stalker knowledge to protect and stabilize the quantum field. As the Council session ended, Zara stood at the facility's observation deck, watching First Bridge communicate with a group of human children in Delta Sleep. The young ones' dreams merged with the Void Stalker's quantum patterns, creating symphonies of light and consciousness that danced through space. They don't share our fears, Raj noted, joining her. To them, this is just natural. Because it is, Zara replied. We spent so long wondering if we'd be strong enough for the cosmos, never realizing that our strength would come from understanding rather than dominance. Beyond the window, more Void Stalkers emerged from quantum space, their crystalline forms now a common and welcome sight in human territory. They were no longer the universe's most lethal predators, and humans were no longer an evolutionary accident that frightened them. Together, they had become something new, conscious guardians of the quantum tapestry that bound all reality together. As human dreams mingled with Void Stalker consciousness, new possibilities bloomed across space-time. The partnership that had begun in fear had evolved into something profound, a shared destiny that would reshape the cosmos not through force or dominion, but through the delicate balance of consciousness itself. The future that stretched before them was not one of predator and prey, of dominance or submission, but of harmony, a dance of quantum and classical, of conscious and unconscious, of waking and dreaming. In finding each other, both species had found their true purpose in the cosmic design, and somewhere in the quantum field that connected all things, the universe itself dreamed of what they would become together.